Beloved, such a privilege to hang out with you as always, and it felt like it's been a little while. And so I've got a few things I want to share always. Why else would I go live? But I also just felt like it was a good time to say hello. How are you doing? It's Tuesday. It kind of feels like Monday to me, but it's not. It's Tuesday already, which is a kind of bonus, really, isn't it? So I had an incredibly glorious weekend. I took myself away from all responsibilities and went on an artist date and let my maiden lead and really embraced the energy that comes with that maiden archetype, which is, she is fearless in the pursuit of what sets her soul on fire and burdened by the responsibilities of the world. And I just really needed some of that energy. I should get my Sacred 13 cards out and show you the maiden that Christy Jameson designed for these. And she's an energy that I have not been hanging out with. Well, that's the wife, that's not the one we want, nearly enough, and really kind of aching for. In fact, I remember last March I was on yoga retreat with the amazing Uma Spender in the north of Bali, and we were doing dancing and embracing our wild feminine, and I just sort of broke down into sobs going, I miss my maiden, where is she? Well, she's here, and the maiden is, I am open and so willing. I want to fit the whole world into my being. I want to consume life without hesitation, all of it, the light and the dark. I want to taste it all. I'm unafraid of the new and unknown. I am certain of my success. Even if I fall, I have won, for understanding is what I seek. I bring my courage like a light to shine into the darkness. I transmute my pain with the innocence of my heart. I am a bold adventurer. Make way for me because here I am. And by golly, that's the energy. I'm putting that up, actually. I've got the Wild Woman on my desk here and the beautiful stand that Christy has had made to go with these cards, just in case you're not aware of them. You can get them on my website if you're interested, but I'm going to put my maiden with my Wild Woman. And these two energies are really beautifully with me. But yeah, it was so fun to hang out with my maiden this weekend. And I brought that energy into the week, so much so that I sort of, feel like today's Monday and we're only just beginning. And really re-energizing and bringing that energy into a rejuvenation. Last week I mentioned in some posts on social media that I'd let the burden of responsibility get really heavy on my shoulders, and this fucking blessed privileged life that I have, where I'm so clear in my purpose and I know what I'm here for and I'm here as God's representative, I'd let it feel like a heavy load to carry. And there was a lot of heavy shit going down. So I understand why. I'm human and divine, but I really needed to take action, and I did, to reinvigorate myself and to give myself the blessing of that energy. And so the maiden is just sitting right here in my heart right now. And she's like, yes, go live. Let's have some fun together. So I just wanted to let you know, tomorrow we are running the Postgraduate Pathways information session. This is the first time we've done that, and it's incredibly exciting because now there are multiple pathways as a postgraduate in the Institute. And even though that began last year, this is the first year where I can get really clear on how they work together. They stand alone as programs, but they do work together as well. And so we're running an info session tomorrow at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That is, of course, going to be most interesting to current or past third level grads, because it is only open to third level graduates. But if you're interested in the Institute as a whole, our mandate is to mainstream the intuitive sciences. And so replicating that academic university style environment of having multiple levels of learning. We have our foundation program, which is our 12-week initiate program that's taught by amazing teacher trainers all over the world. We have the 18-month spiritual directorship, which is another qualification program to qualify as a non-denominational spiritual director. It's the only program of its kind that I know of in Australia, at least. And those two can be done together or separately. But they are both incredibly exciting paths that the women of the third level have earned the right to walk. So it's having that if you like, the undergraduate level is the third level, and then we have our postgraduate programs, and you have to be at a certain level of understanding, a depth of spirituality, a depth of faith, in order for me to feel confident that you're ready for that training. So tomorrow you can join me. We also have the beautiful Amy Towle of Temple of She, who is a third level mentor, who'll be talking about her experience as a current postgraduate student. And we will also be joined by Rachel Cannard, who is doing both the postgraduate program as well as the teacher training. So she's done both the postgraduate pathways in the same period, and she's going to talk about her experience of being involved in both of those at the same time, which we do make entirely possible for you. And even more possible this year, which I'll share with you in a moment. And then we also have the beautiful Lausanne, who is going to be joining us, who is a graduate of the teacher training. So the teacher training is a 4-day program versus the postgrad, which is an 18-month program. They have very different intentions. The teacher training is designed to qualify you to take the program, the initiate program, our foundation program, out into the world in whatever way you want to for your business, for the growth of your business. So this is really about me wanting to create that legacy. Our mission is to train 5,000 women as spiritual leaders, and in order to do that we need, you know, to be working together and really to share the power of the Institute across all of my graduates, as many of whom want to take up that mantle, and it's incredibly exciting. So that's happening tomorrow. I'll be making 2 really big announcements. One will be in regards to what happens if you want to do both the programs in 2020. One's in July, starts in July. That's the postgraduate diploma. That's an 18-month program. The other one is the teacher training, which will be delivered for the first time as a retreat in Mama Bali, and that will be happening in November. So you can learn all about that, and I'll be making a big announcement about how we're going to support you to do both of those if that's exciting to you. And then the other big announcement is in regards to a scholarship that we are awarding for the very first time to someone who wants to participate in the postgraduate diploma. And I won't share any more details about that, but it is to honour a very special woman, and I'm really, really grateful for that opportunity. So that I will be sharing all the details of tomorrow, as well as answering any questions. And of course, the 3 amazing women who will be joining me will be able to tell you directly about their experiences. You don't just have to rely on me. So this is just a really exciting thing for me. As I say, that mandate of mainstreaming the intuitive sciences means that the quality of our training needs to replicate mainstream education, but better, of course. And so we're really thrilled that we're seeing now, we have the current group of postgrads are our very first group, the current group of teacher trainers was our very first group, and now we're kind of moving into the next level. And really, really cementing our place as a tertiary institution in the training of the intuitive sciences. And, that's just going to keep growing, baby. So the other thing, of course, I just want to have a little rant about is about trinkets. I love saying we teach intuition beyond the trinkets and superstitions of the New Age. And, of course, I want to go live and share with you as often as possible what it is, excuse me, that I'm actually saying when I say beyond the trinkets and superstitions of the New Age. I don't want to just sound like I'm disrespecting someone. I actually am very clear on what I mean, and I've shared about it a lot. But right now, what occurred to me is I was hanging out with someone this weekend. They've studied lots of spiritual modalities. They talk a good game. They've got beautiful, Hindu statues in their house, and all of it is really cool. And clearly they're interested in a spirituality. But they're also, I noticed that even though those are the things they've trained in and the things they talk about and the way they decorate the home and how they want to be identified, when it came to looking at their life, they were, angry with the next partner, angry with the traffic. Like really, I could see there was this massive disconnect between their faith and their actions in the world. And it gave me another great opportunity to see how we can study things, we can read books, we can embrace new ideas, we can go and sit with teachers, we can buy the spiritual items, and we can still simply have those as a superficial layer that doesn't alter us. So if your spiritual work, if your spiritual investments, if your spiritual training, if the things that you've trained in don't alter you, then that's a trinket. It doesn't matter how powerful the training. No modality, no training, no book, no teacher is the path to God. All paths lead to God, even the ones that are not spiritual. It's what you do with the stimulus. So the external data that's inputted into your being is always an invitation to awaken. It doesn't matter if that is the loss of a loved one, or an amazing Reiki teacher, or sitting with the Dalai Lama, or picking up rubbish off the side of the road. All of it can be used as stimulus to awaken. if you're willing to receive it in that way. So there's people who have a lot of money, time, privilege, and all the rest of it, who can go on retreats around the world with great spiritual leaders and teachers, who can, you know, explore their inner beings in 12-day Vipassana meditations, who can take time out of their lives and go as deep into these sacred teachings as they want. But that doesn't mean that they're going to use that as grist to the mill and actually alter their being and become congruent between their faith and their actions. Nothing external is going to give you a special magic bullet to the front of the line of awakening. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with that stimulus. So I can take anything that comes into my life as an invitation from God, as an offer from God to awaken. Good, bad, indifferent. When I take my judgment out of it, it all is there to build my capacity to meet myself as God. Therefore, there is no direct path to God that is more potent, more powerful, other than to stay out of judgment and to be willing to say, what will I do with this? How will I work with this? How can I take this into me and let it be stimulus for my awakening? And we move out of judgment so quickly when we sit in that space. Gosh, it just got really bright in here. It's like the room is illuminated. And anyway, I just had the lovely privilege of kind of getting to see this in action. No judgment, but just noticing, here's this person telling me all about their spiritual credentials, and I'm looking at how they're representing themselves in the world. But what I was hearing and what I was seeing in their actions didn't add up. There wasn't a connection between those things. And it really gave me another opportunity to understand how it don't matter how woke you are, if you're not actually doing the work of letting this alter your being, then you're just engaging in the trinkets and superstitions of the new age, in the same way that, you know, I might dress a certain way and say that I belong to that subcultural genre and that's my identity. It's just window dressing. And we're really not interested in window dressing. You know, that's why, you know, never judge anybody based on their external persona, because what someone shows you is rarely what is inside of them. You know, what they want, what they talk about the most or they want to lead with is often the place where they're most insecure. So the most spiritual people in the world are rarely the ones who are going to say, hey, I'm spiritual, let me show you my spiritual stuff and my spiritual credentials, because there's no insecurity. They don't have doubt about their faith. They're not trying to demonstrate their faith to you in order for you to believe it. They are just the demonstration of their faith. They don't need you to believe anything. Their faith is not based on anything outside of them. It's based on a relationship with the interior world, not the exterior world. So I invite you to take anything that God offers to you today as a stimulus to move further into your awakening journey, and stay out of judgment of good or bad, and stop privileging the external as though there's a spiritual hierarchy, like that means I'll awaken faster, or that's got more spiritual credit in it, that's going to get me where I want to go. Everything is of God. Everything is in service to our awakening. And when we live from that paradigm, we're not like, oh, I need more money, I need more time, I need more this, I need to go to that sacred place. You know, you want to go there, place your consciousness there, and there you are. You know, the women I train as priestesses of non-local consciousness understand this truth. And I've talked about this before, and I'll just touch on it briefly, that I went through a period of grieving a few years into starting the Institute, because I truly came to embody or understand what I was saying, where I place my consciousness, that is where I am. And I had this long wish list of spiritual sacred sites that I wanted to visit, because I wanted to receive the potent medicine of that place. And what caused the grieving was I realized that I had become so confident in that truth, that where I place my consciousness, there I am, that there was nowhere I needed to go. I wasn't yearning anymore to be anywhere other than where I was, because if I wanted to be in Machu Picchu or the south of France or wherever, there I was. And that was so true and so real that I actually went through this period of having to let go of this dream of going on all these sacred pilgrimages. Now, I can go on those sacred pilgrimages, absolutely, but I can no longer believe the bullshit that that place has magic in it, because this does not exist except as a figment of my imagination. It's a consciousness experiment designed to serve my awakening, and everything in it is an opportunity for me to awaken further. So if I am privileging one place or one time or one person or one teacher or one book or one this or one that over another, then I'm buying into a human-made hierarchy that's keeping me away from the truth of what I am. And so it was a really beautiful process to let go of that need to be anywhere, and to know now that if I do choose to go somewhere, it's my absolute own free will. It's not because that place is the thing I need. And I see people doing this all the time. It's like, when I go on retreat here, or when I get to do that pilgrimage there, then I'll have it all together. I'll have my shit sorted. I'll find my purpose. I'll know my truth. I'll be healed. And if only we could emancipate ourselves from that trinket and superstition and stop supporting spiritual retail therapy as the highest form of attainment of our truth. It's just not true. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. It is my privilege to hang out with you on this glorious Tuesday here in Australia. The sun is clearly now shining. I'm off to hang out with my brand new baby priestesses in our very first fortnightly tutorial. And tomorrow, if you want to hang out with me, I'll share the link. Please register for the postgraduate pathways. Come hang with me and Amy and Rachel and Lausanne, and we'll give you all the intel on what happens after you graduate from the third level. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.